Hey guys, what's happening? Welcome back to the review of the LUFI XF Revolution OBD2 gauge. This is part 2 of my review, and what we're going to do now is we're going to go through in some detail the different menus, options, how to customize your gauge, and the different settings and menus that you could find using the LUFI XF Revolution. So let's get straight into it. Now behind the gauge there are 3 buttons. You have the up and the down button, and the middle button is actually the menu or select button. So once you go ahead and you press the middle or select button, this menu will now come up. And now we can see the different menus that are available. They include the system setup, display setup, segmental LED setup, warning setup, time attack, DCT's data. And as you scroll further down, there are some other menus that you can explore. Now heading into the system setup, we will find the area where you can change your units. So for example, I have mine set at speed for kilometers an hour, which can be changed to miles per hour. And this is done by selecting again until it's highlighted in yellow. And then you can scroll using the up and down arrows in order to change the different units. PSI can go to bar, Celsius to degrees Fahrenheit, and so on. To be honest, there are certain menus that I'm not very sure of what they mean, but if you pause over the selection for a bit, as you can see coming up, you would actually see a description of that item, and maybe some of you all who are true car gurus can really understand what all these adjustments can do. And as you continue scrolling through, you can see you can actually change the fuel type, a water warm-up temperature, and there's an option where you have segmental speed alarms. So for example, this unit has 3 segmental alarms, which gives you an indicator every time you cross that specific speed. For example, I have mine set at 110, 140, and then 180 kilometers an hour. There is then the option to select your speed range for each gear that you have for your car, and that would then tell you when it's time to change for that specific gear. I personally find it cumbersome and inaccurate, so I usually do not use this feature. In this menu, you can also change the time with the clock menu, and also you can change the buzzer sound. And in this sub menu of the buzzer sound, you can change the warning sound, whether you want the buzzer to always be on, RPM shift alarm, which can be the light only or the buzzer sound, and several other alarms that can be set in this menu. In the sequential LED menu, you can change the indicator mode, the pattern of the sequential LEDs, whether you want it to light from the left or the right, or both coming from both left and right at the same time. You can also change the amount by which the RPM must rise in order for each LED bulb to light. For example, for every 200 RPM, one of my LED bulbs would light. In addition to this, you can change the color, whether you want it multicolor, red, green, or yellow. So for example, in my car, where the dashboard light is orange or some hue of orange, I have actually mixed red and yellow in order to get that color, and I think it matches pretty well, as you can see right here. Or you can choose to change the different colors to get it either yellow or purple, or any combination of colors that you might like. So now we move on to the warning menu, and the warning menu is a very important menu. It is one of the most useful systems in this gauge. And as you can see here, you have your RPM shift menu, speed, voltage, water temperature, and oil temperature, turbo inlet manifold pressure, as well as oil pressure. Now depending on which menu you have available depends on your car and your DME, if it will be read by your car's DME. Here is where you set when your alarms sound. So for example, my RPM shift light will light at 3800 RPM because it's diesel and it goes up to 6000. I will get a speed alarm at 150 kilometers an hour. My voltage alarm will come on when my battery drops to less than 11 volts. When my coolant temperature goes above 105 degrees Celsius, I will get an alarm. Similarly with the oil temperature, 115 degrees Celsius. For those of you who are worried about overboost, you can actually set your boost pressure alarm. I have mine set to 23 psi. And as you scroll through, you can see the different parameters that can be set and the warnings that can be set. So what I will do now, I'll give you some short clips of the warning lights coming on and how they look in action. So back to the remaining menus, you have your time attack mode, and as you can see the various options here to select the mode to reset your 0 to 100, 0 to 200, as well as you can also read and clear certain errors on your DME. So the last and probably most important menu that we have to go through is the item setup menu, and we will go through this now. So on your item setup menu is where you change your different parameters on the given LED face that you have for the gauge. So for example, on this LED face, we are going to quick select the menu button and then go on item setup and quick select again. And what you would see now is that there's a highlighted area on the gauge interface that you can now move using up or down to the various parts of the gauge in order to change that parameter. So as we could see here, in a second, you would notice that I am in the middle of the gauge, and here is where you can put the logo of your vehicle. I would quickly go through the logos just so that you can see if your vehicle logo is supported by the gauge. Please go ahead and slow the video down in order to view properly. To deselect your area, you long press the menu button and a checkered green hue will now be seen, and then you can move on to the other area that you want to change that parameter. So now I will just show you the different settings and the different parameters that are available on the gauge. Now each car would be different. Not every computer would be able to read and display the different parameters. So for example, in my car, I am unable to get oil pressure reading because of my standard or stock oil pressure gauge, but in other vehicles this can be shown. And there are over 52 different selections that you can make depending on the model, depending on what your computer reads for your car. So take your time and go through it. You have like fuel rail pressure, oil pressure, temperature, and turbo inlet pressure, and different parameters that are very useful for everyday driving. In addition, depending on the interface that you are on, you can actually change the dial to be in either your turbo pressure, different RPM ranges, and speed, tachometer, etc. So the last thing we really have to do is to go through the final customizable and probably the most unique customization feature of this gauge, which is the item color setup. What this does is that you can actually change the color of each item that is on the gauge. This includes your numbers, your units, even your RPM bars, the ranges. Everything can be uniquely customized to your vehicle's interior and to your liking. Following the similar use of the up and down arrows, the menu button, You can select the different parameters that can be changed: the title, the number, the unit, your RPM bars, the small bars within the dials of the gauge, to uniquely change your colors so that it could suit your need. So I will just speed up this part of the video and let you all have a look. So I believe that will be it for this video and the final video of my review of this LUFI XF Revolution gauge. It's a very nice gauge. I really enjoy using it. It's very useful to me, and I think a lot of you all would agree to the same once you give it a try. So thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and we'll leave you now with some clips of the gauge in action real time, and I hope you enjoyed. You all have a nice day. Take care and bye.